Tupac Shakur didn't just rap about guns and violence, he lived it. From a tumultuous childhood marked by drugs and chaos to a successful music career that was cut short by a bullet, the music icon never stopped living on the edge. Tupac Shakur was born in New York City on June 16, 1971. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was a member of the Black Panthers. A month before Tupac was born, she and several other Black Panthers were arrested for conspiring to incite violence at a race war. During the trial, Afeni successfully acted as her own attorney and was acquitted. Tupac had a difficult upbringing, as role models were largely absent. His godfather was in jail, and the person he looked up to was known around Harlem as an associate of a local drug lord. According to Vanity Fair, Tupac would later say this experience was where the thug in me came from.
If everybody just left me alone, I'd be a nice person.
After his mother lost her job, the family drifted and stayed in homeless shelters. His family eventually left New York City and ended up in Baltimore. While living in Baltimore, Tupac was constantly ridiculed. He was called things like tuberculosis and tube sock, but he also found some safety and inspiration in the Baltimore School for the Arts. Before long, he began expressing himself through writing. Tupac's best friend in Baltimore was Gregory Smoke. While speaking to the Baltimore Sun, Smoke said that Tupac didn't have a lot of good memories. He recalled seeing Tupac's mother smoking crack cocaine shortly after the power in their apartment had been shut off. By the time Tupac was 17, his mother had developed a serious drug addiction and started dealing. Years later, when Tupac's career took off and his records started selling, his friends kept his mother informed of what was going on. Despite Tupac's growing fame, however, Afeni was still grappling with her drug addiction. She told the Baltimore Sun, "I was holding on to that like it was life. I didn't think there was any hope for me." After leaving New York, Baltimore was supposed to be a fresh start for Tupac and his family. But after a gang shooting claimed the life of a local boy, Afeni Shakur decided to send her son and daughter to California for the summer. Although she had arranged for her children to stay with a friend, that friend soon went off to rehab. So Afeni had to join her children in California in what would become a more permanent move. Once she was in Marin County, Afeni found that it wasn't exactly the safe suburb she thought it would be. Instead, the area proved to be a less than spectacular square mile where the have-nots lived in the shadow of the haves. While living in Marin County, Tupac discovered his mother's crack addiction. Before long, he found himself living in an abandoned apartment building. From there, he started searching for his own path in life and dabbled in dealing drugs, working a series of odd jobs, and writing. The Shakur family may have assumed that California would be paradise, but clearly it wasn't.
Everything was just going bad for us.
A chance meeting with Layla Steinberg kicked off Tupac Shakur's official entry into the music industry. Within a short amount of time, he was performing as a member of the hip-hop group Digital Underground. In 1991, a year after he started working with Digital Underground, Tupac released his debut album, Tupacalypse Now. Then, in 1992, he went home to Marin City to celebrate the town's 50th anniversary festival. It was there that Tupac spent some time meeting and greeting fans. But when Tupac allegedly made some comments about the city, a fight broke out. Someone then pulled out a gun and fired it. As a result, a 6-year-old named Quade Walker Teal was shot and killed. After Walker Teal's death, his family filed a wrongful death suit against Tupac. According to Deseret News, Tupac paid out an undisclosed settlement in 1995 after witnesses testified that the bullet that killed the little boy had come from Tupac's gun. According to testimony, the gun had been dropped and subsequently picked up by Tupac's half-brother Maurice Harding. Harding then started shooting. After Tupac's death, a friend of his mother's told Vanity Fair how heartbroken the rapper had been over the incident, saying, "Tupac cried and cried when he called to tell me about that little boy. You couldn't console him." In 1994, Tupac Shakur was shot 5 times as he entered Quad Recording Studios in Times Square. The 3 assailants then stole around $45,000 worth of property and fled. Tupac and his camp quickly came forward with claims that he was targeted. However, law enforcement said it was a mugging and nothing more. Fast forward to 2011, and new information surfaced that suggested Tupac was right. According to The Guardian, a man named Dexter Isaac confessed to the crime. He claimed that he had been hired by Jimmy henchman Roseman to carry out the robbery. Isaac also said he was paid $2,500 and could keep whatever items he stole from Tupac and his friends. Despite Isaac's confession, however, the statute of limitations had long since expired, so Isaac couldn't be charged. In 1995, Tupac was sentenced to jail for sexual assault. Although he apologized to his accuser for any suffering she may have endured, he also denied that he had committed any crime.
This is all I want to say. For all them people that doubt me, I had no record all my life. Okay? No record, no police record, until I made a record.
In 2018, Tupac's accuser, Ayanna Jackson, recounted what happened in an interview with Vlad TV. Jackson claimed that Tupac invited her to his New York hotel room. She then claimed that 3 others walked into the room. According to Jackson, she was sexually assaulted by multiple people on the night in question, including Tupac. After Tupac's conviction, Suge Knight famously came into the rapper's life and offered him a contract with his label Death Row Records. In an excerpt from Changes, an oral history of Tupac Shakur, Death Row's former head of business affairs Alex Roberts was asked whether he thought Tupac was innocent of the charges. Roberts replied, "From my lips to God's ears, yes. Why? My experience with him, how polite he was." In 2011, XXL interviewed Tupac Shakur's father, Billy Garland. Garland had been active in the Black Panther Party at the same time as Afeni Shakur. The two lived near each other in the early part of the 1970s, but eventually lost touch. So for long stretches of time, Tupac and his dad had no contact at all. Then in 1994, Garland made an attempt to see his son. According to Vanity Fair, Garland went to visit Tupac in the hospital while he was recovering from gunshot wounds. Garland had seen the rapper on a poster, and as soon as they met face to face, the uncanny likeness left no doubts that they were father and son. According to Vanity Fair, Tupac said this about what it was like to see his dad for the first time. "Right then, I thought I had died and gone to heaven." Although circumstances prevented Garland and Tupac from building the relationship they both desired, Garland made it clear how he felt about his son in his XXL interview. He told the outlet, "There's no doubt in my mind that I could have been a better father. There's no doubt. I have to bear the burden of that because maybe there was something I could have said or have done maybe that might not have led to the path that his life has led to." After Tupac died, Garland attempted to snatch some of his son's money. According to the Los Angeles Times, a DNA test confirmed that Garland was his father. However, his claim to half of Tupac's estate was denied, seeing as he had minimal contact with his son and didn't help raise him. InStyle once described Tupac Shakur and Madonna as a music power couple. But here's the thing, Madonna didn't even confirm that they had been a serious pair until 2015. Rumors had swirled, of course, but for a long time nothing was confirmed. So how did the two music icons become a couple? Well, as the story goes, Rosie Perez set the two up at the 1993 Soul Train Music Awards. The relationship that followed was largely out of the public eye. There were also rumors that the two had recorded a song together. However, Madonna didn't confirm anything until 2018 when she wrote on Instagram, "One day I will release the song we did together." Exactly what happened between the pair remains something of a mystery. But in 2019, Rolling Stone reported on the existence of a letter that shed a bit of light on their relationship. At the time, Madonna was trying to stop the letter from being sold at auction. In the letter, Tupac referenced a troubling remark Madonna had made about him. He wrote, "An interview where you said, 'I'm off to rehabilitate all the rappers and basketball players,' or something to that effect. Those words cut me deep, seeing how I had never known you to be with any rappers besides myself." The California Love rapper then wrote, "It was at this moment out of hurt and a natural instinct to strike back and defend my heart and ego that I said a lot of things." In 1992, Tupac starred in Juice. It was his very first movie role, but the rapper earned some serious praise for his acting. According to Biography, he later said in an interview, "I could be the best actor anybody's ever seen, given the chance, the opportunity, and the experience and the lessons from people. I could be the best, but right now I don't even wish to be the best. I just want to be one of them."
I want to move further away from the music and go start waning myself into the acting more.
Sadly, Tupac only starred in a few movies before his life was tragically cut short. He was originally cast in 1993's Menace to Society, but was famously fired after coming to blows with the film's director, Alan Hughes. Still, Hughes later told MTV that if Tupac had been in the film, he would have outshined everyone. Hughes went on to add that the Dear Mama rapper was bigger than the movie. Tupac was also set to star in 1995's Higher Learning, but according to Vanity Fair, director John Singleton was informed by the studio that Shakur needed to be fired because of the sexual assault charges filed against him. For Singleton, having to fire Tupac from the film was a bitter pill to swallow, seeing as he had written the film primarily for Tupac to star in. Singleton told Vibe, "Pac ended up getting in trouble and then all that stuff happened in New York. It was logistically impossible." Given his rapid rise to fame, it might seem like Tupac Shakur had a lot of money in the bank, but according to Biography, that wasn't the case at all, and by mid-1996, he was starting to question Death Row Records about his royalties. At the time, Tupac's album sales had topped $60 million.
Ain't no other record company out there that sold as many records as we did.
However, the rapper was still in debt to his record label for $4.9 million. In an excerpt from Changes, an oral history of Tupac Shakur, a videographer named Gobi Rahimi said he overheard Suge Knight and Tupac arguing about money. Rahimi recalled Tupac saying, "I'm selling millions of albums and you're giving me pennies." Although Tupac remained a Death Row artist publicly, those who knew him said there were signs that he was planning on leaving. Rap Coalition founder Wendy Day said that Tupac knew that people were cheating him, but had difficulty advocating for himself. According to Changes, an oral history of Tupac Shakur, Day explained, "They were there for him in the beginning when he had nothing, so even though he knew they were stealing from him, he wasn't going to do anything because he felt a sense of loyalty." If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE 4673.